let's move on to a team that has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Houston Texans. What a mess of an offseason this has been.
Yeah,
We
terrible.
thought it couldn't get much worse than having Billy O'Stooge there. Turns out that the butt chin was not the problem. They have just problems from top to bottom in the organization. Management's disorganized. Deshawn Watson's in a ton of trouble that we're not going to dive into here, even though it appears that, if true, Watson is a complete scumbag.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I believe this is their head coach now. I didn't even know what he looked like.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, when they when everything came out with Watson, I was like, ooh, that is not going to be pretty. If it turns out by some miracle that he did not do that and it's just one of those like I'm going after this guy kind of thing, I think that the Texans long term will be okay. But right now, he looks like the biggest scumbag on earth. Like,
yeah,
like I hesitated even talking about the Texans because it's like one of those fine lines. Like you can get kicked off social media and everything.
It is really tough to not get in this situation, not just want to bury the guy right now.
Yeah, I don't want to bury him, but if we stick to an actual just football conversation and leave that whole thing off of it, because we don't want to get involved in any of that. What we are focused on is just the football aspect. If Deshaun Watson plays this entire season, it's literally gonna be like Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson, but with a worse defense
and worse offensive line and worse receivers. And
yeah, but I mean, Deshaun Watson is so good that he can actually bring them to the playoffs, especially in this division. Like you have the Titans, who are Super Bowl contenders, or maybe not win the division, but contend in the division. Jaguars, as much as we just praise them, they were still really bad last year to get a number 1 overall pick. So we can't just all of a sudden say they're going to win 10 games or anything like that. Like as of right now, I don't think the Jaguars are going to be like contending in this division. But with Deshaun Watson on the Texans, he can actually bring them to like a wild card contention.
Yeah,
that's how good he is. But
I'm not sure with the talent around him that he can even do that this year. I do have to say, if he is on the team, that is worth at least 3 more wins, and they will be more competitive in the losses.
I'd say more than 3 more wins. I do think that without him, they are pushing 1 win at best.
Well, I mean, like, we didn't even get around to like burying this guy yet. So their new head coach, David Culley, this guy is not even a good coach. Like, when Josh Allen was in his first year in the NFL and had a barely above 50% completion percentage, that was his quarterback's coach, and he got canned as quarterback's coach. He went over to Baltimore, has not improved Lamar Jackson's passing ability at all. I mean, like, I don't even know where this hire came from. Like, I don't know if they just like brought this guy in to be the fall guy or what.
I think it was one of those things.
A good quarterback's coach.
It's one of those things like they didn't want to bring in, like, I know John Gruden's in Vegas, but like they didn't want to bring in like a John Gruden or an Urban Meyer or anyone like that because they knew that they didn't have a team. Without Deshaun Watson, they're going to be a 1-win team, even if you have Bill Belichick there. So like they didn't want to just bring in some guy, pay him a bunch of money, and just be like, hey, we're going to just ruin you. So they wanted this guy to come in and like maybe Deshaun Watson can teach him something about being a good passer. But
I'll be surprised if this guy makes his coach for like 1 or beyond this year, or like 2 years. 2 years is probably the longest I see him going.
Yeah, they might hang on to him after this year just to be like, well, we don't want to get into the Browns cycle of hiring a coach and then firing him immediately after.
They somehow managed to be a team that didn't have a good offensive line, didn't have a defense, doesn't have draft picks, doesn't have cap room. I mean, they somehow managed to do all of that.
Yeah, they're paying more players off their books than they are on their books.
And I mean, they really, for some reason, they signed a bunch of running backs this offseason. Like they have Philip Lindsay and Mark Ingram to add into a backfield that's pretty crowded and not going to have any room to run because the offensive line stinks.
Mm-hmm.
They have Brandon Cooks and nobody else a receiver. They just
is Will Fuller still there?
No, Will Fuller.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah, he's gone. They couldn't afford him because they had no cap space again. The defense has really nobody of note.
They have Cunningham. Zach Cunningham.
Yeah, they have Cunningham. That's it.
Yeah.
There's really, they have like a few running backs, some of them beyond their prime, and that's about it. And yeah, this team.
I wonder if they'll take a chance on Todd Gurley.
What, add a fourth running back into the crowded room already?
Why not? You can do whatever you want. Your team sucks.
Yeah, having all these running backs is great, but doesn't help when they don't have anywhere to go.